I'm really pleased to be speaking to Duncan McNeill of Oracle. Duncan, if you can start off by introducing yourself.
Hi Michael, it's good to see you again. So my name's Duncan McNeill. I'm the Head of Design and Development in a readiness function inside Oracle. And that means that I'm responsible for designing and changing some of our internal training programs and other interventions that we do for our business.
Okay, can you build on that? Can you tell us a little bit about the context of Oracle in 2010 and some of your opportunities and some of your challenges?
Yeah, sure. So I would say there's three things that I would really look at to help you there. The first thing, which I'm sure is common for everyone, is the economic climate, which means that Oracle's customers themselves are having changing needs all the time. So our business is having to respond differently now than we did, say, 2 years ago. So that's the first thing which we have to take into account. The second thing, which I'm sure you're aware of, is Oracle's been going through a pretty dramatic acquisition strategy for the last 3.5 years, and the most recent being Sun. This has been changing our internal culture, has been obviously bringing in new employees all the time, and also introducing a vast array of products into our portfolio. So when I started in Oracle in 1989, a long time ago I know, we had about 4 products and it was easy to know what they were and what to do with them. Now there's hundreds of products, I have no idea what they all are. So this is one of our great challenges. In my department, clearly we have to change our offerings, how we support training and the way that we do training in particular. So I would say that that's characterized by the fact that we have to move really fast. You know, as the acquisitions are coming in and we're changing our products and the way we approach our customers, we also have to be able to change our offerings really quickly to support the way that the business is changing. And if we can do that well, then I can see us becoming real change agents in the future.
And within that context, what are your own objectives?
Well, I think I would describe that there's really 2 things that we're focusing on right now. The first one is changing the way that we do our business. And that means how we respond to demands from our internal customers. The second one is my ambition, really, that we are able to create and roll out world-class and cutting-edge interventions. And the best way to describe this is kind of through a story that typically a sales manager, let's say, would ask us for some training. Now, as a training provider, I would ask questions like, of course, you know, how many people do you want trained and when do you want it and how much you're willing to pay, that kind of thing. What we're trying to move away from is, or rather what we're trying to move towards, I should say, is if I was now asked that manager, what would you get from that training? So what would be different? How would you see your reps behaving differently? And he might say something like, well, I want them to have more contacts within their customer at a higher level. And if they can do that, then they can increase the opportunity for our customer success, but also for their deal size. And then if I talk to him a bit more and say, well, what capabilities does your team need? Then he might identify 3 or 4 different things. So within a fairly short space of time, I'm finding that maybe 2 or 3 of his team need the training that he specified. Maybe 2 or 3 of them actually don't need anything. They're already top performers. They just need a bit more coaching. And maybe there's 5 or 6 in the middle that actually all need different things. And really what we need to do for him is provide him with some kind of assessment and create learning paths for those individuals. That's actually what's going to get results for him in the way that he wants. So that's what we're trying to do, is turn away from just being a clean train provider and turning into this kind of partnership and developing programs that he really needs.
So those are your objectives. What specifically are going to be some of your deliverables over the next period?
Well, I'll give you a couple of examples. I mentioned this sales manager who's looking for some training. One of the things which we're doing is running a simulator. So we put the sales reps into situations which are not with real customers, but under a little bit of stress, where the manager can observe what's going on. And by doing that, we're able to find out, well, does this rep need additional skill, or is it confidence, is it conflict handling? What are the things that he specifically needs? And the reps get a lot of this because they get direct feedback. We also are able to do some coaching with them and some kind of modelling of their preferences for how they work with customers. So the simulator is one thing which we're rolling out, and it's been very successful. The other thing, which is actually how you and I met, was we've been working on this value selling program, which originated in the US from one of our sales programs. what we're trying to do, because it's NLP based, is bring that so that all reps can use the same techniques. They can then find out from their customers what's really needed and how we can position our products for the value of our customers.
Brilliant. And moving on from that, what sort of results, what are the sort of hard results that you expect to get from doing the sorts of programs you've been talking about?
Well, if I take this sales manager as an example, by having the discussion with him, we might establish that he needs to increase his average deal size across his team. So that would be something which we could measure. So where are we today? What does he need to get to? And then we'll be able to map backwards from that. So what kind of capabilities does his team need? And that might be for an individual or for a group of people. And then similarly, we'll be able to map that back to, well, which specific behaviours do we want to change that he would be able to see his team doing differently? And that way he can then observe them and give them feedback as well. So we're able to map from our training intervention or whatever else it is that we do through to behaviour change and the new capabilities, and then eventually to the direct results that he's looking for. I think for speaking for myself, what that would mean is that we would become more trusted as a partner in the business, not just a training provider. So if the sales manager can associate us with an increase of, let's say, a 10% improvement in his average deal size, which is what he was targeted for, then I think he will ask us again for help in the future.
Okay, so that's about results now. If you sort of imagined that you were a year, 2 years down the line, you'd achieved all the things that you've been talking about, what does that then enable the company or the organisation to do what it can't do now? What does the work you're doing allow the company to do in the future? If you didn't do it, what would the company not be able to do?
Well, of course, that's a great question for any training provider, isn't it? What would happen if we didn't do it? One thought here is that actually the business will find a way. So my objective is to make sure that we are providing the world-class, cutting-edge services and solutions for them. Then I think the business will be able to move really quickly to get ready and to increase the performance in the way that it wants to do quickly enough next year. So if you imagine trying to be ready for the next year's changes, then that is what our goal is.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Michael. Thank you.